Today we are back on the Janjo Zone channel, taking a look at the confusing world of TCG translations. As somebody who knows there is quite a bit of hiccups with this, I'm excited to see a little bit of a deep dive into it. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's get started, guys. Please go show the creators some love in the pinned comment description down below. Let's watch this together.
Translating one language to another is not always the smoothest process.
And I know I'm pausing right away, but even if, like, when we're talking about the English language, which I don't know another language, but it seems to be common knowledge that English is by far the most difficult language.
There are so many intricacies in languages that can make one sentence lose meaning when brought overseas. So when Yu-Gi-Oh came to America, there was a lot of translating on that schedule.
Dude, I can't think of off the top of my head. I know there's been like maybe a slime card or a slime name that appeared somewhere, but I can't think of anything else. Like, I can think of artwork that's gotten censored, but I don't know about like monster names.
Each set needed its own English version for every single card, which, as you can imagine, takes a lot of work. As such, the distributor, Upper Deck Entertainment, decided to have some fun with that process.
Oh no. I thought we were going to be looking over mistakes. Okay, I'm interested, man.
Process has left a lasting legacy on how many view the popular card game. Because, sure, you could translate Itazurazuki na Futago Akuma as mischievous twin demons.
Is that not what it means? I don't know. Like, I can't translate.
But delinquent duo as an alliteration rolls off the tongue better.
Oh,
but for every
I
one
see.
of those, we get Aqua Mador. Like, what even is a Mador?
Yeah, I don't
Points
know.
to my Yu-Gi-Oh CG series. Wink, wink. Many translations
So what did it mean in Japanese? Huh.
create a ripple effect down the road. Early Yu-Gi-Oh was simple enough, but as time marches on, so does new cards and archetypes. The largest group to make a problem are cyber cards. Cybernetic is an archetype subset of the cyber-style archetypes.
Okay, so were these not supposed to be called like Cyber Dragon, Cyber Angel, Benton, Cyber Dark Horn? Interesting. I never, like, dude, I thought we were going to be taking a look at, like, mistranslations, not just changes.
Dragon, Cyber Angel, and Cyber Dark. Due to this, support for both Cyber and Cybernetic are synergistic. This is a problem when Upper Deck starts translating cards that do not belong under this umbrella.
Interesting. So they were all supposed to be Mecha too, and that's why there's so many Cyber cards. Dude, I didn't know that. That's cool. Huh.
Gets turned to Cyber Falcon. Devil Franken gets turned to Cyber Stein. And Cyber...
Did that say Devil Franklin?
Cyber
Hang
Falcon,
on.
Devil Franken gets turned...
Oh, I thought it said Franklin. Oh.
To Cyber Stein.
Wow.
And Cybertech Wyvern gets turned into Cybertech Alligator.
Interesting.
Just as a few examples. So all these cards require a parenthetical. This card is not treated as a cyber card.
Wow, to be honest with you, I've never even noticed that on the cards. I didn't know they said that. Even on the normal monster, eh? They say that. Interesting.
In their text for future reprints. On the flip side, many Archfiend cards would need to get a parenthetical rather than a name change. This is because Archfiends in the OCG are called Daemon. Demon, spelled differently from demons. These are much older forms of demons. While they could technically be interchangeable, you could find subtleties between the two.
So I'm a little confused. Why is it one where you have to say, is it because of all the cyber effects on the Archfiend, like realistically who uses the Archfiend cards or the Archfiend archetype? Why is one say this card's always treated and one says this card is not treated as?
Regardless, such a hellish title would not fly in the TCG. Thus, cards like Summon Demon, Demon Tamer, Death Demon Dragon, and Demon's Axe would...
Dude, I didn't even know like that. I know that it was a little bit darker over in the Japanese cards, but man, sorry, I can't help but just admire the artwork of so many of these, man. Like, the artwork on these cards are so cool. I love it. We need to make a card art commentary again soon.
get renamed as Summon Skull, Shadow Tamer, Fiend Skull Dragon, and Axe of Despair.
Oh my god, so they took off the mouth. I thought that... you know what's crazy is I was actually just looking at this, and I was like, I don't really remember Axe of Despair looking like that, but it was censored. And this one was heavily censored.
As Summon Skull,
Look at the change there.
Shadow Tamer, Fiend Skull Dragon, and Axe of Despair. Yeah, for some reason, Upper Deck didn't bother even trying to fit all these cards under the same name. While they would settle on Archfiends come Dark Crisis, the damage was already dealt with every release beforehand.
That's interesting. I don't think it's a too big of a deal, to be honest with you. And I think that what they settled with Archfiend, I think that's a solid name to go about it.
From a deal with Dark Ruler, which did not include Archfiend in its name, since a deal with a demon didn't quite work when Archfiends were turned to a special category, in which Dark Ruler Hades, the clear monster in the art, was not part of the OCG archetype.
Interesting. Dude, it's crazy, like, the leaps and bounds that they have to go through sometimes, eh?
Because his OCG name is Demon King of the Underworld, Hades, and not Daemon King.
Now I'm having a blank because I remember there being a Hades. Is there a Dark Ruler Hades? Is that what I'm thinking about?
As to why Konami made deal an Archfiend card and not Hades, I have no idea. Other times, cards would receive entire name changes to avoid archetypal confusion. Some famous examples include Harpy's brother turning to Sky Scout due to
why? Hang on.
The Harpy archetype.
But isn't that supposed to be part of the Harpy archetype? It's the same kind of card. Huh.
Red Eyes B Chick changing into Black Dragon's Chick due to the Red Eyes archetype.
Wait, why was that one changed?
Despite it being directly tied to the Black.
Yeah, isn't it? That doesn't make any sense to me. And like, of course, like, sorry, I need to, for future videos, we'll be looking into putting my webcam elsewhere, guys. But yeah, Black Dragon's Chick and Red Eyes B Chick. The artwork's a little bit different. No, it's probably just a screenshot.
Dragon. At least now certain cards like Black Metal Dragon don't need to include except Red Eyes B Chick in its effect. 100 Eyes.
We're taking a little trip down a nostalgia route right now because I remember all of that. Like, do all of this stuff except for Red Eyes B Chick.
Dragon needed to get fixed to remove the hyphen since that sign tied it to the previously mentioned Red Eyes archetype.
Oh my god.
All the card needed was the letters for Red Eyes spelled out to include it.
Dude, that's so stupid. Like, I've loved this game my entire life, but there's so many like little things we have to look like one teeny tiny little word to make a ruling. That's what I hate about this game, man. Just like the target rule, don't even get me started.
Some cards like Amazon Archer need to get fixed to make it an Amazonness. The same goes for Clip the Trap Remover and the Dark Scorpions. Sadly, others do lose that early TCG flair, like with Frog the Jam.
That's the one I was thinking about. I knew there was a slime one. I remembered that one. Oh my god. But there's so many ones that are just like, what's the point?
To Slime Toad, or Kinetic Soldier getting renamed as Cypher Soldier to fit in an anime exclusive archetype.
Oh my god.
A weird translation that involves archetypes must include Hardened Armed Dragon.
What's that one?
OCG name is Hard Armed Dragon.
Huh. I mean, if you have to work around it for some reason, I don't really see too big of a deal as to like change it to that.
This is an example of a seemingly proper translation becoming incorrect. Maybe it should have been Hard Armored Dragon instead. Sometimes Upper Deck got lazy and decided to not even translate some names. While now
Jigen, Bakudan, what was the other one? I remember getting this. I remember getting this card from a McDonald's pack. Hyozan Ryu.
Got lazy and decided to not even translate some
Diamond
names.
Dragon.
While
what?
Now many of the names are memorable
Time
to
Bomber.
some of us, logistically,
Dokuroy Aiba. Death God Boomerang. That's funny. It is a Death God Boomerang.
the only sense it makes is time, budget, or motivation. They have to translate a ton
Mizire
of cards,
Zuzame.
people. I mean, could you imagine how hard it is to translate Raigeki as Thunderbolt? Mikazuka no
Oh yeah, he's probably being sarcastic. I was about to start mocking it, like, oh dude, that's so hard to do.
Yaiba as Crescent Dragon may have been a too long, don't care situation.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense if they just go through the trouble. Is it just because it's normal monsters? No, there was a couple effect cards there and like Raigeki. I mean, maybe if it's they could go by if it's like easy to pronounce, but I was just struggling with a couple of them there.
That one would get a retrain that would combine the two names together. Neat. So clearly the name had an impact, even in Japan.
What's the point?
Ryu most likely kept its name over Holy Night Dragon.
Oh my god, I remember having this card, dude. I thought it was beautiful. I had this thing in a secret rare back in the day.
Due to the holy part. Faith Night Dragon doesn't make sense, but the later release archetype would find a better solution in Starry Night.
I didn't know they continued doing that. What's that one do? If this card's normal, special summon from the hand, you can target one card of the field, destroy it. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a dark monster or by dark monster's effects. Once per turn at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster until the end phase. Also, this can make a second attack in a row. I did not know this card existed.
Makes you wish we got Starry Night Dragon way back then.
Yeah.
The death cards like Death Wombat are the romanization of death, which makes sense why Upper Deck would want to keep some form of it, as weird as it sounds. Death Lakuda is the strangest example of this, since Rakuda is the Japanese word for camel.
Interesting. You know what's funny? It kind of makes you look at the qual cards completely differently, eh?
To phonetics, it got changed to Lakuda, respelled the way it is, and printed instead of simply going with Death's camel. Fusho is another oddity. His more properly translated name is Undead King Lich, or Nosferatu Lich. But his base name is spelled like Fushio Richie, and clearly Upper Deck didn't want to bother with it.
The only weird thing for me is like the creator said right here, like clearly they didn't want to bother with it, but they bothered with so many cards. What's one more? Why are we leaving like singular cards out? That's the weird thing I don't understand.
Despite it being an ultra rare in Pharaonic Guardian. The last card under the Keeping It Japanese umbrella I want to discuss is Manga Ryuran. For many, this is the only manga card. While technically that is true, over in the OCG, this couldn't be further from the truth. See, regular Ryuran's translated name is Dragon Egger, which, let's be honest, sounds off. Not Dragon Egg or Egg Dragon, no. Egger. You'd think this guy directed The Lighthouse or something. So, okay, keep his Japanese name since it sounds better. But now, do you keep the Toon version's name the same?
Dude, this is confusing me all the time. He's right. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we saying Toon for so many cards and then just leaving this one? What is it, Ryan?
Or do you properly translate it? Does it become Toon Dragon Egger? No, Upper Deck decided to also translate Toon as we view Japanese tunes, which is
Manga Ryuran. I never questioned this in my entire time as a kid. I mean, why would I question it when I was a kid? But I played this game for most of my life, and I've never questioned it.
Is manga, because a half translation in Toon Ryuran didn't make sense. Due to this, we now have the only manga monster, which is effectively just a Toon that Upper Deck changed to be consistent. Now we have all the recolored counterparts, which were different monsters in Japan.
So you have Taihon and then Red Dragon. I forget that one too. Is there another card that's just like this and then this number 2? I think that might be the only one. And I apologize again, guys. I'm gonna look to be moving my webcam with these videos.
These make more sense.
Oh, there is more.
They use the same design. Illusion Sheep and Sleepy? How about Mystical Sheeps, number 1 and number 2? Sometimes this can be weird, like with the previous example, where Sheep number 2 came out a few sets before number 1. Sometimes we wouldn't even see the other number, like with Fiend Reflection number 1, despite it getting a retrain in 2024. That was
wow. I find it fascinating when they go back to old cards and then like either remake the new cards or actually give like this random card some support. I enjoy when they do that, but that's got to be the weirdest one. Number 1, number 2, that's like laziness at its peak.
Was the best time for an extra card slot. Makes you wonder why they didn't call number 2 the first one, unless they had plans to release number 1 in a tournament pack or something. Other times, there would just be an error regarding...
Dude, I forgot about that one, too. I thought that was the only... When the first one we took a look at, I thought that was the only one where it's like a number 1 and number 2. But now it's the same Winged Dragon number 2. I don't remember what the first card's called. There's no way it's called Guardian of the Fortress. I can picture the artwork in my head.
Names like Wyvern being called Winged Dragon, Guardian Fortress number 2, despite the card not being a dragon, but a winged beast.
Oh my god.
Steel Ogre Grotto number 2 wouldn't even be a counterpart to any of the Ogre Grottos in the game. Same deal with the Darkfire Soldiers and Crawling Dragons.
Oh my god, I didn't realize how much they
Certain
did that.
Counterparts, Upper Deck wouldn't even be consistent in the naming convention when looking at Hibikime and Sonic Maid,
oh my god,
Kurama and Whiptail Crow.
Dude, I want to know how much research goes in these videos because this is incredible and I've never even thought about this and I can't imagine like actually having to dive in deep into translations and stuff.
At least Dark Elf is its proper name.
Hang on, that is what they should be
Sonic
doing.
Maid
Hang on.
And Kurama and Whiptail Crow. At least
that is what they should be doing. Not Mystical Elf 1 and Mystical Elf 2. And I get that it's like an effect monster and it's not, but you get my point. You can do that with every card.
Elf is its proper name. Like Emperor's Judge was more or less correct, whereas Megami was stuck in Japan.
Goddess of
Reversal. You can't
Reversal.
always win when it comes to translations. Then there are just some strange changes. Lesser Dragon number 2 was originally released as just Lesser Dragon. This was before Upper Deck released another monster called Lesser Dragon.
Why would you not call it something else? I don't know what to tell you, man.
Thus, the number 2 had to get added to the first one because they shot themselves in the foot for not translating their names properly as Emerald and Sapphire Dragon, respectively.
I don't understand how you can't, like, if it's your job to start translating things properly, you would think that it would be done correctly, and you would think that those people would be, like, replaced with somebody who's capable of actually translating things properly.
You wonder why they didn't call the second one number 2, but I digress. Red Eye's Black Dragon had the black shortened to B, even though Upper Deck would fit Blue Eyes' whole name on that card. In the case of Giant Trunade, Trunade is a misromanization of the Japanese word for tornado, Torunado, despite the OCG card being called a hurricane.
It's just Giant Trunade, excuse me. It's so funny. This stuff has never occurred to me in my entire life.
Piling on that, sometimes English comes through. Cyber Vary is now Cyber Valley, even though vary is in regards to a scientific variable and not the land term.
How do you figure this stuff out? Where is this documented? It all makes sense. Like, I'm not doubting it. It's just I can't imagine how much research went into this.
Buster Launcher getting turned into Buster Rancher is just hilarious. Like, is it supposed to be put on a salad? A card like Beaver Warrior getting changed from Louise makes sense.
Louise?
Not funny, even though the English manga use both names as one.
I play, what did it say? Hang on.
If not funny, even though
Next, I play Louise, the Beaver Warrior. Oh, I thought it was just supposed to be called Louise and not Louise, the Beaver Warrior. Okay.
English manga use both names as one. And there are some cards that get a total name change for no apparent reason aside from being fun, like when fans thought Mochi Toad would be brought over as Treat Toad, to only be proven wrong with the introduction of Toad.
I hate this card, dude, and I hate this card because I love this card because my main deck throughout my life has been Frog Monarchs. The fact that I had to ever say that I summon Totally Awesome, or Totally or Awesome, I hate that.
Totally Awesome. Which, to be fair, it is. On the other end of the spectrum, fans thought Crystal Machine Halofiber would get translated as Crystron Needle Fiber, to only get perplexed by Crystron Halkifibrax. A significant downgrade in my opinion. Finally, we have misprints, which were improperly translated during one step or another. And
that's what I thought this entire video was going to be about. I thought we were going to get 10 minutes of misprints.
And had to be fixed upon a later print. When it comes to these, there are not too many examples.
So you have over here, you have After Genocide and then After the Struggle. You would think that that's one that they would... but they're both in English. Huh. Maybe they were supposed to take out the Genocide, and After the Struggle was supposed to be the card that was actually released, but both of them ended up getting released.
Examples. Trial of Hell getting changed to Trial of Nightmare.
Yeah, that one's completely famous. You have Trial of Hell and then Trial of Nightmare. You don't want the big scary word hell.
May be the most infamous of the bunch.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Whereas Big Shield Garna may be less known. Yeah, Garna originally had a U due to miscommunication between Konami and Kevin Tewart.
Look at that.
There are a ton of translation examples one could discuss. Heck, there are plenty I had in my notes that I just couldn't fit in this one video.
I feel like, yeah, but it's so weird to me, like, some of them just made it through and they're like, okay, this is the card now, and sometimes they were lazy and other times they went through the issue of, or the work of, properly translating things.
Red Moon Baby, Dark Trap Hole, Marie the Fallen One, etc. All that stated, which translations are your favorite? Or which ones do you despise?
The only one, honestly, that I think I despise is Totally Awesome. Dude, I hate it. Like, oh, I summon Ronan Tonin, Treebone Frog, Caius, play this. I play Totally. I play Awesome. Guys, this video was phenomenal. I have been enjoying the channel. Since we made our first reaction, I've been subscribed and I've been watching the channel. So please go check out the channel in the pinned comment description down below. Go show them some love. But if you are already subscribed, then why don't you check out this other reaction video that we recently did? You can see it right here. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for being here and watching, guys. Take care.